Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Team Fortress TV for our ETF2L Season 38 Premiership Division Playoffs Round 1 between nerdRage and GlobalClan.EU. My name is Lucky, and tonight I'm joined by the handsome Dane himself, Beta on production, and everyone's favourite fish, Dave, as my co-cast. How's it going, man?
It's going really well. Looking forward to this game. I mean, some of Pups looked at it. It's nerdRage against Global Clan. It's first against fourth. So, I've been looking for good omens for Global Clan because nerdRage is such an impressive side. They've been really imperious throughout the season, won pretty much all their scrims as well. And I'm struggling for really good omens for Global Clan. I don't know if you've got any, Lucky.
I am rating this in the number of oofs that we're going to say during this cast, and the number of oofs are going to be exclaimed by the team of Global Clan, to be honest. I feel like this will be a rough one looking at the track record of the table for this season. I don't know if we have that information available for everyone to stare at. But basically, nerdRage sitting high and dry in the top spot after, the weeks went through. We played all our weeks and they just seemed to be absolutely destructive through the season. No one could really stop them and they just seemed to roll all the way through. Faint Gaming was the only team that took something off of them in the end, I believe. So yeah, looking pretty strong for nerdRage, and sitting at the bottom of the playoffs bracket, only just making it in by an entire 4 points is GlobalClan.EU. Garda Pantery there, taking a game off them. That game was kind of epic.
Yeah, I casted that game, and to be honest, Global Clan were kind of a shambles in that game. It was obviously a good performance from Garda, definitely the best we saw of them. But Global Clan were really, really not on it. That was the Week 6 game. Week 7 against Busker, they looked a little bit better. But really, they have to hope to recapture some of their early season form. They did, of course, beat top 5, and they took a map off Faint. Those are obviously the other two teams in the playoffs. So if they can kind of recapture some of that form, that's what they're really going to need going into this playoffs. This is, of course, double elimination, so no one's dreams are going to be ruined tonight. But both teams want to be in that upper bracket going forward.
Charlie's dreams of getting a poo medal this season are in the balance, so we'll see what happens. What was I going to say? We should probably go over the rosters for this evening. We do have the wonderful two teams of nerdRage and GlobalClan.EU. If you haven't heard them already, we're on the side of nerdRage. We have Seeds, Nasboy, Josh, Nubby, Gazzy, and Moral Alexi himself. Yep, I had nearly a wrong roster then. That was hilarious. And also GlobalClan.EU, we have Dagger, Charlie, Flick, Ixie, Mathes, and subbing in this evening is Trum. So this nerdRage side, whoo-wee, they've got some stats. Yeah, so fantastic medic stats there off of the Seeds. Whenever I look at those stats, I just think, my God, average 7 deaths. Holy cow. And across the board there, we've got some high averages for the Scouts, especially Moral Alexi sitting on 26 as an average there, Dave.
Yeah, very impressive. It was Gazzy as well, really up there. Often the flank scout doesn't quite get as many kills, but he's right up there with the very, very best. Been very, very impressive. Perhaps you're looking at a little bit less experience than some of the other guys in this team. Josh has been around for ages. Seeds has really been at the top for a while. Molexi as well, and Gazzy is not quite that level of experience, but he's really come into his own this season, I feel.
Yeah, I feel like he's been on kind of a wind-up for a little while ever since he was playing in Division 1, and then he stepped into Prem, and he just seemed to smash everyone around. I would like to see some just generic pyro stats out of Gazzy, to be honest, because that man makes that class look absolutely broken, even though it is already. Not sure why I'm saying that. Nubby, though, obviously, of course, his average kills are hindered by the number of times he has whacked out the Market Gardener this season with 22 average deaths. So, he's kind of a big fail. On the other side, though, we have GlobalClan.EU stats on screen for you, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to have a look. So we have Ixie sitting on 22 average kills. This man this season, Ixie has been an absolute monster. GlobalClan.EU have kind of been bolstered up by Ixie. I think if they had another scout, then they would not be this high up on the leaderboard.
Yeah, absolutely. Ixie does an awful lot for them. You often see he's often the one going in the sack waves as well. That was definitely something I saw whenever I've watched Global Clan. So, to get the amount of kills he has, and his deaths aren't even that high given kind of how aggressive he is playing. As a whole, he's obviously the most experienced player on the team, so he is really like a kind of talisman for them. He gets everything going from an aggressive sense.
Yeah, he's just kind of the guy that you want on the team. You know, he can also off class. He's got all the ability that you have. Also, we've seen Dagger joining in this team as well. He's had some incredible moments this season. He stepped into Global Clan's really fitting with the rest of the roster. It seems like they're really riding this wave that they're on. Global Clan really climbing up now because I don't think they made playoffs last season, but they seem to have smashed this season quite well. And of course, you've got Charlie there sitting with an average of 25 deaths and 18 kills. He's the main core feed pocket. Speaking of which, if we can have some lovely head-to-heads of our pocket soldiers as well, just to see Charlie and Josh and see how they fare against one another in this game. Just for a little bit of inside information, ladies and gentlemen. So looking at this, you can see the averages relatively even, but Charlie is just clearly an airshot machine.
Absolutely. I mean, I think they have a very, very similar kind of style. They're both kind of big calling, big leadership presences in their team. Both sort of the dads of the team, I like to see them as. And, both the teams perhaps need that kind of figure. Perhaps Global Clan, we've talked about Doey. Doey obviously is not playing today. He, either left himself or got pushed to some extent. So
he got shoved, mate.
Got shoved. I mean, perhaps you have a bit more information on that than me, but certainly that's obviously another big kind of leadership presence they've lost, but perhaps it gives them more kind of this kind of solo, like one-man outlook.
Yeah, I think that Charlie is that guy who seems to be like that space creating soldier, but when it's like crunch time and he ends up in like a 2v1 situation, he can land rockets. And Charlie, I've been saying this all season, the man has been improving time and time again every single game that he plays, and it's really cool to see. And of course, ranks first in deaths. We can't expect anything else. He's too manly. He just goes in, man. He's just that kind of player. But we should stop talking about these players and start talking about some maps. Maps for this evening, we have Granary, Product, and Gullywash for the selection. I assume that the picks were Granary and Gullywash for nerdRage being the first seed.
I'd have to assume so. I mean, what we've seen from nerdRage is they've looked very, very strong on absolutely every map. It's only really Sunshine they seem to not be a fan of. I mean, I don't have the bans. I'm not able to see the bans, but I assume that would be the map they would ban. Every other map that I've seen nerdRage play on, they've looked formidable. And going into the first map of Granary, obviously we see it being sort of soldier heavy. But Nubby doesn't have as much room to perhaps use the meme spoon a little bit, but he will, be able to put in that big spam, that big damage.
Yeah, I do like that they've done this to kind of like bolster it. We talked about this before actually with Nubby. He kind of He loves to be able to high bomb. If you stick him on any map that has some flash jumps like Process or Granary or even Metalworks, he really shined on this season. I think that you're going to have a rough time against nerdRage, especially since they're top seed, and you've also got to deal with these scouts running around, and just having a pesky Nubby on your backline really just threatens a lot of what you're trying to do if you're the side of GlobalClan.EU. But I think on the other side there, you've got a very competent soldier in Mathes who also is very, very good at these high bombs. Not been as successful as the Nubmeister, has to be said, but still a very effective soldier nonetheless. And the demo matchup, oh Dagger, you're about to get Parkinson's demo straight to the face.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we won't be viewing Nazboy's POV too much tonight. It is quite painful to look at an awful lot, but he certainly brings out the frags, brings out the damage. Granary's always this weird one where like some demos like it, some demos don't. It's a little bit different to the other maps that it requires some specific strats, some specific ideas. I know Beta always talks about the stock pipes being this big thing. I think we're more likely to see the Iron Bomber tonight, probably from both gamers.
I'm gonna say it. I think I like stock pipes. Has to be said, stock pipes on Granary just make sense. The projectile cannot travel over the crates and detonate in a decent radius. Using stock pipes just makes a lot more sense. So I see Beta's POV and him fanboying, and that K just pioneered it. But Iron Bombi is broken because the hitbox is bigger. So pick and choose what you want to go with on this map, guys. One thing I really haven't spoken about whatsoever is that they got Trumin as a last-minute replacement. He's been playing his season. It's been shaky, to say the least. Still a competent medic, still up there, but This man's all I'm going to say is he's going to struggle against Nubby. He's not going to have a good time.
I mean, the thing is, they are both Hungarian, and obviously Dagger is as well, so they do know each other very well.
Synergy.
There's synergy. Whether it's synergy in terms of eating those market gardeners or not, we'll have to see. But to be honest, I've seen Trum. I casted Garda a couple of times these last few weeks, and Trum was really impressive. Like both the games that I saw, I was singing his praises an awful lot. So it is a difficult kind of environment to come in for this playoffs at the last minute in a team that was already established, and perhaps a team that was always sort of on a downward trajectory. But I think Trum, he just seems the best fit. He's been kind of the best performing medic of the teams that didn't make into playoffs, and obviously he already has that inbuilt synergy with Dagger, as we talked about.
Yeah, true. Speaking about the other medics actually who've come into Prem, we've got Juxta who's coming to Prem this season. I thought he was a really impressive medic. Like, it's enough pressure itself to play medic in Prem, but to just jump into Prem like he has and get a 5th spot, that's balls, man. That's big balls. That's like as good as Shock did better because he came like 2nd or something. But Shock was incredibly good when he came in as well. Shame to see him not in Prem at this point in time because he was really like the next seeds, man. But I feel like Juxta with another seed under his belt is going to be one of these medics which is just like, whew, this is special sauce. You got to be careful about this medic. He's going to surf everything. So looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next season. Before we get into this first game though, have you got any predictions on score lines and all the rest of it?
I think nerdRage will take this fairly comfortably. GlobalClan will give them a bit of a fight for a while, but I think nerdRage will ultimately come out on top. And probably the first map going to look at 6-1 nerdRage.
Wow, that's a score. I feel like the GlobalClan are actually going to maybe adapt. They're going to have to slow down their playstyle, take it slow, make sure they don't make any mistakes, and if they can do that, they might be able to get an edge. But I think you'd be foolish if you weren't going to vote on nerdRage for this game. But we've got the, Dark Horse, the Arc. GlobalClan, yay, yeah. They can do it. I reckon it's going to be like 4-1 to nerdRage. But I still think, GlobalClan, if they play well and nerdRage have an absolute shocker and Seeds tilts his face off, then they might win. Dave, I've talked a lot.
Well, yeah. So obviously we talked about it is going to be double elimination. We've got these two tonight. We've got 2nd against 3rd, and I think we are actually seeing a ready up. So.
Oh, holy cow! We're actually going live. That was a lot of time they spent before going actually. But welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our first playoffs round, double elimination. So we're going to see what happens here. In this first game on Granary, GlobalClan.EU versus nerdRage, top versus bottom seed of the playoffs brackets. We're making our way to our first mid. Nasboy is in about 15 seconds before Dagger is, and Dagger is deciding he's going to roll out through Garage. Nasboy here is going to be tagging off Flick early. We've also got the high balls coming in from these soldiers in towards the medic of Trum, but he surfs off nicely off towards the left-hand side, and he's getting Mega Bomb now and is just dead in the corner, and Seeds is now sitting behind his scouts. Very nice high and dry. Gazzy's going to get a little bit tagged here. Scout now flanking from the right-hand side. Flick's just going to run all the way back around. Gazzy receives an arrow. Flick also running in here, trying to get on top of Seeds. Not enough damage has been dealt yet. 21 HP on Seeds. He's still alive. Ixie gets piped down as well. Mathers now going for the blind bomb up and around the corner. Lands some nice rockets, but can't quite finish it off, and that's going to be a wipe.
Yeah, smart position there from nerdRage, just playing it in the enemy's choke, just knowing that their win condition was keeping Seeds alive. That's all they needed to do. It's a little bit of a messy mid-fight, I think, from GlobalClan. Like, Dagger and Trum really got caught out on the right-hand side alone and just got rushed down and didn't have the defense of the players that they needed around them. So, nerdRage are now going to have 100%. They're coming up, taking this second nice and easily, and it's going to be an advantage push for last.
Yeah, looks like they are just going to be heading towards his left-hand side. Everyone has received a bit of a buff. Nobody's on 85 HP, but he's going to receive that pack, and also they're going to take the Super in onto the Sentry Gun. The Sentry Gun gets 3 sticky down, and that is gone now that Uber is about to fade for the side of nerdRage. They haven't managed to pick anyone. In fact, Josh has actually gone down first here, and Nubby has also bombed in. Super weak. Gazzy's now playing the point, but the forces of GlobalClan are coming across the point, and Nasboy's been hung out to dry, so he goes down, and they're going to be able to push back into second. It's a nice hold for the side of GlobalClan.
Yeah, very nice. It just didn't get any position there at all from nerdRage. Like, the soldiers, I think they both wanted to do bait jumps, and they both baited each other and baited the whole team, and they just couldn't get any position. And very, very nice hold.
It looks like we're heading in towards mid now. GlobalClan.EU very, very aggressive here. Josh has actually bombed in and killed Dagger, which is a massive advantage now. Trum has Uber. Seeds is up to 90%, so Trum currently sitting on point. Seeds is building his Uber really fast, actually, and Garage has got it. Looks like they can now go for a trade, and they're taking heals up top. More Alexi actually gets dropped from this, unfortunately, and Seeds has managed to get out on bats. The cap's about to go through here. Seeds dropping down to reach his other scout of Gazzy, and is now just going to be leading out through bottom left. A little bit unfortunately that they dropped more Alexi there.
Yeah, Charlie did really well to just sit in that catwalk and waited for them to walk in. You know, Moralexi walked straight into those rockets from Charlie. Can't get anything going.
Oh no, they kill Seeds! XT manages to run in there just from the flank. No one was watching it. The soldier bomb comes in and Seeds goes down. That's super unfortunate there. Seeds dropping Uber, Ixie picking up the ball.
Yeah, we talked about that in the pre-game, how important Ixie is in those kind of, you know, aggressive sack waves, those aggressive plays, and he was really on the ball there with Mathis. They're coming in, everyone was looking at him. Ixie just sneaks in, and he's not going to miss those shots. Seeds goes down to 100% now for Global Clan. They are taking a little bit of time to get to the second, but they've got such a large advantage that, you know, they just need to take it nice and safe.
Sticky's word there on the point there, and Mathis goes down. Looks like Gazzy does get in, and Trum actually has to use off that Uber charge there really early, and they're not going to find anything here. Gazzy actually managed to burn out Charlie there as well, so unfortunate there for the side of Global Clan. The opportunity that they had to push in towards last goes directly into the bin. Sticky's all down on Nubby though, so Nubby goes down really early here. They're bringing heals into second, and they're going to try and get this cap down. Ixie's actually slipped in. He's got him behind, but he's going to get cleaned up immediately. More on Alexi with some lovely shots there, as they're just going to play the spam game on the point, but Siege should be able to get Zuber in time and cap out this point.
They're holding really, really close here. If Seeds just had a little bit more, they could have gone for something aggressive, but frags are traded now. No soldiers for nerdRage. It's going to be very, very difficult for them to kind of get any pressure going. Uber's coming in.
Oh, a little bit of a questionable use here, but they do manage to get in, and good damage onto Trum there from Nasboy, and he does get the pack though, as he surfed all the way around the corner, but Trum up to 90% Uber now, and it's now for GlobalClan.EU to get aggressive here, as they're moving in towards Garage already, making their play, and looks like Seeds needs to build back in this Uber build back in this shutter even, as they need to retreat back onto second. The right hand side yard push does come through, and they're able to get across nice and clean. They haven't managed to lose anyone yet. They have got one player in Lunchbox, but it's only a scout, so not a lot of pressure coming out there as you would have a soldier, but it looks like they are barreling down here. Tons of damage into the side of GlobalClan.EU. Nasboy just absolutely bodying them there, and that Uber is absolute garbage, and now they're in the same situation as last time.
Yeah, it looks like Nubby is going to sneak out as well. No arrow from Mathis. He will get one now just about. So, I mean, it's 6v6, but we're seeing a little bit of leapfrog going on this granary second point. It's always it's always difficult to catch teams out because, you know, we talk about this being a 7 CP map. You've got the yard as well as the capture point itself. So, you know, both teams just leapfrogging the Ubers, but you know, Trum is building nicely here. They're trying to take without using here, but they do get forced out by Charlie, who gets right in nicely.
This is exactly the reason why Charlie has an average of 25 deaths in games, because he does stuff like that. But Ixie also killing Josh. Just solo again in a 1v3, and he's still fighting them. Ixie just surviving forever and gets out, managing to kill the main caller of nerdRage. Now they have this Ubrad to go with, and there's no backup from Josh, and Moral Alexi also dead, so the pocket players of the side of nerdRage both dead. So now they're just barreling forwards with this advantage that they have in through right yard. The Stickies are there though from Nasboy, and Dagger goes down. Stickies in the shutter again. Nasboy's doing such an incredible job of just holding them off, and also they're keeping the spam game going now, and they might use around this corner here. Actually they don't. Trump comes in a little bit late. Charlie nearly dies, but it looks like they do manage to get everyone in eventually, but their Uber once again being burnt out on second. Now the collapse is coming through from Gazzy. Gazzy gets Charlie, but they do trade out there, but they don't get second this time around.
Yeah, the spacing from nerdRage is absolutely on point. They know exactly where they have to be, that they're not going to get caught by any of these Ubers, and you know, Nasboy putting out so much damage every time that the entry is just putting absolute fear of God into them every time they're entering, taking so much damage. You can't get those good entries when so much damage is put down onto your combo. It's a little bit of a flank play coming in here, but Mathis will go down, so there's not much contestion on mid here.
Yeah, everyone else is retreating outside of GlobalClan.EU. They are building up the super, so they are going to have it to hold yard. We talk about Granary is that 7-point map where Yard is basically its own little sector that's really hard to push out of or pull into. So we're going to see what happens here, where they're going to send their sacks. It's up to nerdRage to decide what they're going to do here. But it looks like they are just going to get super aggressive here. Josh is already bombing around this corner, going in really high, and he's not going to land on too much, but they are managing to get on top of Trum. Trum goes down super weak, eventually has to use that Uber before he nearly dropped that one. That was so close. Nasboy here getting super weak as well, down to 5 HP in fact, and gets arrowed up from Seed, so he is going to survive, and Mathis is now going to be walking in through top. Notices that Seed is in a good position, surrounded by scouts. There's not a lot that he can do here, so really nice play there from nerdRage.
Yeah, just complete distraction there of Josh going really, really high. I mean, Trump did manage to pop just about in time. He didn't drop himself, but he did unfortunately drop Flick to that rocket as he was trying to just hold on to that Uber desperately as he could. Wasn't able to hold on to it. Flick went down, and without that scout up, they're not being able to hold on to second.
Uber charge comes in on this right-hand side. Oh my god, Ixie with the headshot to Nasboy, and now this Uber is absolute pants, and Seeds is running away with his tail between his legs, and Josh is already overcommitted, and he is in. He's just going to be bombing up into Dagger. They do get that kill, and they've got Captain down. Gazzy with that play there, but the Pootis comes out from Flick, and he finds 2 pretty much immediately, so the rest of nerdRage are going to be retreating out.
Yeah, they are scampering for their lives. Moralexi and C's right the way back. I mean, if you keep your medic alive, it's not the worst situation ever, but that was all on Ixie. Just hit a perfect headshot, completely stuffing the bush. That's the case of what we love to see in TF2, where it's just that one sick, insane play just making all the difference.
Yeah, Nasboy, by the way, is just, he's absolutely bodying GlobalClan. Every time they try and get through a choke, he's finding 1, maybe 2 kills or enough damage to force an Uber. He's just being this massive wall that they're really struggling to get through. Nubby with a high bomb here into this corner, though, just to stop him from coming in. Seeds is actually going to get his Uber charge now, standing on top of the point here. So these players that are stuffed into this corner, Dagger is in on 1 HP. Nice arrow from Trum, though, to keep him alive there. So it looks like he is going to survive and get out here. But we have got basically even players, down 1 scout to the side of GlobalClan. It looks like they want to get aggressive here with their spam classes. Lack of spam classes on Granary is a big thing, so being 1 soldier down is a huge issue. They are actually going to trail the Super, but they drop more on Alexi, and Dagger finding that pipe is going to be pretty huge there in this trade, and they are just going to be able to hold on to Yard and have a 1 player out to make their way into mid with.
No scout now for nerdRage on this mid, but he's a very difficult mid to enter. The soldiers get a little bit more position, but there's so much high ground here, it's difficult for them to come in. Charlie does go down, traded out. Nasboy goes down. Ixie just absolutely fragging everyone. Josh going down as well. It is going to come out perhaps in nerdRage's favour. The players are going to have to leave, and Gazzy chases down Ixie and Drum, kills them both. nerdRage just about come out on top.
They absolutely squeaked that one, Dave. That was so close for so long there. It looks like Alexi getting really aggressive with the Dagger. The Dagger jumping out top very wisely. Would have been chased if he went lower right. So looking good for them with Dagger being alive on last. But they have got to deal with this 100% Uber that's coming out from Seeds. And Trum only just respawned. Flick is just putting up a sentry gun. It's only going to be level 1 for when this push comes in. Maybe only just level 2, but they are going to be looking to make their way into last. Ixie's up on the snipers. They are going to have to use through this doorway, and they do that. And that's supposed to be jumping in towards the sentry gun. They are just going to land on the floor and take out that gun. But the high ground currently being owned by GlobalClan.EU, so they need to get them off this high ground soon. Or Alexi going to be trying to edge that point a little bit just to get some eyes looking in that direction. Gazzy just dives in, kills off Matt. There's a worthwhile trade for him. But it looks like the rest of nerdRage are going to be retreating out of this last. They've lost too many players.
Yeah, again, it's just safety first from nerdRage. They know they didn't quite get enough. It took a while for them to dislodge that soldiers off the high ground, and those soldiers on those pipes, while it produces air shots for your logs, it also produces a lot of damage if you try to cap that point. So once they got rid of that, once they got rid of those soldiers, it was just a little bit too late in the push, to be honest.
Yeah, a little bit too little, too late, and looks like they are heading in through this lower left-hand side now as they get Charlie in, nice and clean. He does pick up that pack as well, but the flank is coming around from Nubby, and he manages to force out that Uber charge now, so it's looking like a really terrible Uber. Season actually does use that Uber just to keep his players nice and healthy, which is exactly what you want to do here. It's a much better Uber, but they only find 1 pick so far, but the flank is in, and they do get on top of Mathers as well, and Dagger also went down during all of that, so they are able to get to this yard. Charlie is now escaping, does manage to get out through Shutter, very close though for him getting out. He is still retreating though, does land a nice rocket to Moral Alexi, who's trying to chase him onto the point there, and they do manage to get this second cap all the way through with that ×7.
Yeah, we're seeing the difference here that Charlie is often hitting these crucial rockets to keep himself alive, whereas Dagger his DM hasn't been quite on point today. He hasn't hit quite enough of those clutch pipes that you usually see from him. He's getting caught out an awful lot.
Oh, looks like Josh going in for a nice early stack there. Doesn't quite find what he needs. Nubby also going in here. Unfortunately feeds, but Trum only down to 50 HP, so very, very close there, all in all. But Trum doesn't even have Uber yet. Seeds is about to get his Uber. They're going to peek the sniper aggressively on the left-hand side. He does get a headshot to Nasboy, and that's the pick that you want if you're trying to push into second. No more sticky layering coming out from the side of nerdRage. They're just going to sit and hold down. Maybe take a trade here, and they do take the trade. They run in, they two-shot Dagger. He goes down immediately, but Trum is just holding the S key here. Looks like they do want to take this Uber back in, though. Flick is just holding the W key in towards this team, and they are going to take it all the way around the corner. Good damage. They do kill more on Alexi. They get on top of Josh, and they kill him in this corner here. Gazzy also going down on the flank somewhere, but it looks like they are managing to get this on the side of GlobalClan.EU. They're stacking its caps, so no forward spawners, and it does go through. And now they're going to be able to posture towards midday.
Yeah, big numbers advantage here. Charlie does just about get cleaned up. This stickies from Nasboy, very, very impressive. We see GlobalClan rushing in. Mathis is maybe going to get something damage down onto Nasboy, but he will sneak out of there. No one could quite clean up. Very, very deep play there from Flick, but couldn't quite manage it. And now they're very, very scattered on this mid-fight, and nerdRage is just going to be able to bully them back out.
It's like, oh god, all I have to say is that Seeds' positioning has just been incredible this whole game. He's always managing to slip out in every situation. They can never get on top of him. If they got an opportunity to get on top of Seeds, then they would be able to end the existence of nerdRage with the amount of fails that they've had trying to make these pushes work. The only play that they did have was an Ixie was a lifesaver and managed to get that drop off. But it looks like they are bombing in their soldiers. They are super committing here. They get Flick, but they do lose Nubby for it, and then they lose Josh as well. So 2 soldiers down, and the mid push is going to happen most likely with those 2 soldiers being down. So no high bomb threats coming out for the side of nerdRage now.
Yeah, it's the same sack play that they went for last time, but this time GlobalClan were much, much more ready for it. The scouts were in position perfectly to just deny it, and once they couldn't get onto Trum at all, those soldiers were just absolutely eating anything that they taking all the damage. And in fact, we see GlobalClan they don't want to go for anything aggressive. They had an opportunity there, but just playing a little bit slow. But perhaps they were relying on the Ixie to do a little bit more of a solo play, and he couldn't get in.
Yeah, it's hard when you've got to maybe rely on one of your scouts to get a cheeky play going, but just can't do it, gets boxed in. But Nubby, currently up on the sniper, going to be peeking through this garage area. Dagger's doing a really good job of just layering up the stickies. He's going to have to now reload, though, as he moves back to do so. And Nubby is just going to peek this angle. Does spot out a couple faces coming around this corner, but it doesn't quite go for the shot. Does go for it now to Dagger, but they use out the supercharge, in fact, and Trum is just all the way in with his soldier. They kill off the sniper immediately, but Seeds only just using his supercharge now. Flick is currently caught in, is going to get cleaned up there. Charlie also going down. There's 2 picks that you want on the side of nerdRage now, so they're going to be making their way in. The Uber is only just fading, but good heals. Josh has managed to get on the right-hand side, hasn't currently been called, and they are going to be able to take Yard off of them, off the back of that nice Uber trade on the side of nerdRage.
Yeah, I mean, it's the classic, you go try to trade in for the Uber because there's a sniper, and they managed to frag the sniper, but the players, couldn't get in behind. We now see nerdRage getting very, very aggressive at the point, taking so much damage from Mathis and Charlie, spamming down from the high ground. They're going to be chased out. Charlie going in for something, thinks better of it a little bit, and it's a little bit back and forth now in Yard, but nerdRage is going to have to get out of there. What a bomb there from Charlie, picks up Nasboy.
Beautiful bomb there, just sinks the rockets into that choke, but Seeds is already gone, man. Every time that you see Seeds, his beam is going to be attached to a scout unless he's crit healing a soldier, and that's about as much as it takes for him to escape out of these points here. And it looks like they are going to get this capture time down. They're not going to be able to block these players, unfortunately, so now we're just going to see a bit of a leapfrog. They get the point off of them, but now we're in the same situation. Another stalemate, a very classic granary game where if you give an inch, they take a mile.
Yeah, I mean, neither team is really sitting around. That's what we can say. Obviously, we're now well over half the game now. I think it is 0-0, so resident sleeper to that extent. But both teams are very, very much going for something. We see soldiers posturing a little bit. Nice arrow into Mathis will keep him alive. So with just the one soldier pick, it's going to be difficult for nerdRage to get too much going. But they are posturing in choke to get some going.
Oh my god, they get the nice bomb though. Josh gets onto Dagger and manages to kill him immediately. So no demo man here able to plummet one of these chokes. So they are just going to be able to walk all the way in on the left-hand side. And they do manage to force the side of GlobalClan out of this mid now. So they're going to get this time 6 on the point, and they're going to be able to deny Flick. But with Gazzy being down, it's not going to really amount to much. And once again, another stalemate on mid. I feel like we've seen this before.
just a little bit. We've seen a few times so far today, Dagger is just getting caught out a little bit. I don't really know what it is. He doesn't seem to be massively out of position with the rest of his team. Obviously he's a little bit more inexperienced, but nerdRage just, they seem to, it's like a shark. As soon as they see him just, that millimeter out of position, they just all converge. They smell the blood on the water, all converge on him, and he goes down, and that gives up so many points if your demo man's going down that much.
Flick gets body shot here, so space now for a soldier to bomb in. They don't quite use the opportunity because they do have a sniper, but Josh actually gets the kill onto Charlie as he did get a headshot there. Flick once again getting headshot, so he has to go in the corner. Unfortunate there for him, so he's got to move back. Also, Dagger got a headshot and all that as well. I didn't even notice, but he's managing to move all the way back here. But 2 picks for the side of nerdRage. This sniper is now opening up so many avenues, and these stickies are being cleared out by Moral Alexi. He's just going around Minesweeper mode as nobody's going to be able to peek now around this corner here, and Dagger needs to layer up these stickies right now. He's about to take it to the face, but it looks like they do actually use another supercharge onto Snubby, but they save him with their own Uber, and it's a much better Uber as Nasboy is just bullying them out of second, and they are managing to claim this point now on the side of nerdRage, so finally some progression.
Yeah, also, now that they have this second point, there's a lot more sniper sightlines opened up for Nubby that they can peek this shutter open for him. He's going to try and peek in from this left-hand side, get something going. Dagger is holding very, very close, but not quite putting out the damage that he wanted to completely deny it.
Oh, Charlie. What a bomb. Just flies around the corner at the right angle, manages to get on top of him, just clean him up with 2 crisp rockets. Very nicely done there from Charlie. But it looks like now we've got 1 player pick each. Nubby is likely to just... Oh my god, the bomb's coming in from Josh. Gets on top of Trump, hits the wall, he gets taken out. Goodbye, Trump. Flick's running in now as well, can't get anything done. We've got loads of players down. Ix is currently off the sniper. Absolutely useless, as they're going to be able to stand on this point here. Bomb comes in towards Seeds, and the saving grace is that they... Just kidding. They got him, boys! They managed to get Seeds, but it's going to be 1-0.
Yeah, unfortunate there. I mean, Charlie did such a good job just bombing in, taking that sniper out, but then it was almost like the team didn't react to the fact that they got that sniper pick, that they were still holding the same kind of positions you do when you hold close against the sniper, and obviously that means you're very, very vulnerable to the bomb coming in, and the soldiers was able to land on Trump, caused so much distraction and just completely wiped off the back of it.
Very, very nice heads-up play there from the side of nerdRage. Once again, just doing that high bombs on this mid. Josh now is going to be able to take that crate off of them, but he's going to get flanked by a bunch of players here. He gets the pack, but he's boxed into a corner and goes down. Nobody's going to be able to flank through Garage now. Gazzy getting weak. Gazzy gets cleaned up there. Mathers going down. Trum, though, dies in the backline there. Nobody manages to find that frag, unfortunately, for the side of Global Clan, but it's going to be a 4 versus 3 scenario where it's 2 fragging classes and a medic versus 4 fragging classes. I'm not sure if this is a fight you want to take if you're on the side of nerdRage, but they are on the wrong side of the map right now, so they've got to do something. They do manage to kill Charlie there as they're coming through this garage area. Ixie's looking to try and hold them off, gets super weak on this point, needs a pack. Nasboy's going to pre-stick here, does find it on Ixie as well. Flick is going to be running all the way out though, and they do manage to take this fight just by stringing them out.
Yeah, kind of crazy to see. I mean, Charlie had such a good opportunity there in the garage. He got so close to all 3 of the players, just couldn't quite land the second rocket he required. I mean, perhaps he could have got a 3k just with those rockets, but Seed's just about sneaking out. His movement is just always on point. You could just see at the very, very last second he sneaks out of there. So that they do have this uber advantage. They have dropped Nasboy to that snipe. But they are still going to be able to move into second.
They do actually use up this Uber on second, and they're going to go in towards Trump here, but Trump just uses out that Uber charge very easily. As not they can do, but Josh gets forced in actually. Flick just meat shot him while it was Ubered into last. Now Josh is going to have to just sit on last on like 10 HP. Eventually goes down there. Dagger in fact goes down in the front line though, so Moral Alexi finding that frag, which is no down for the side of GlobalClan.EU. Going to open up so many opportunities here for nerdRage to get something going on. Nasboy is weak, going to need an arrow, does manage to get his arrow, and they are just going to opt to sit around for a bit and just wait for their spawners to come in before they do anything else.
Yeah, again, we see Dagger just thought that Uber was coming all the way with him. He got right on the point. As soon as the flash came off, both the scouts completely landed him, chased him, held W right into his face. Dagger is taken out, so they're not going to be able to hold on to second here. And it's really up to nerdRage to, get a little bit aggression. We've seen no off classes yet. So probably likely some social rooms. They are just sitting back and building Uber, so I guess they're one up, so it's not the onus is not really on them to do anything in terms of winning the map, but they are just chilling a little bit.
Ixie was chilling out on Spy, and he would have seen that there were no off classes. Josh going for something there, but just gets mowed down by Flick. He's on Tomislav on the pipe. Not opting for an engineer. They know that they cannot sit around. Due to that first 20-minute round, they don't want to sit on last and commit to an engineer because it'll take too long to get off of this last point here. So Ixie is just going to be sniping through this shutter door and causing so much pressure that Seeds does not want to peek this corner here, and they do not want to do anything here. They have managed to get Mathis up in the top right-hand side window, so maybe a little bit of pressure towards Lunchbox there, but not much to speak of, as they're now just going to take the pressure away a little bit and get healed up and get ready to go again.
Yeah, obviously they don't have to do too much. Oh, Ixie picks up Nubby as soon as he opens that shutter, perfectly looking for him. Now, I think they're perhaps a little bit scared of this sniper. They have got Moralexi himself up on sniper. Obviously, a very, very formidable sniper.
Scout, it's going to be a sniper duel for the ages here. Ixie versus Moral Alexi. My pitted two favourite scouts in Premiership right now, going toe-to-toe in a headshot battle, so we'll see what happens. Who's going to win this one out? Whoever wins claims my favourite scout of the season prize for this game. But looks like we've got both snipers looking like they're going to play nice and passive. Moral Alexi probably hasn't actually been called yet. He hasn't actually pressed the E button, so they don't have any sniper voice lines to go off of just yet. Okay, they've definitely seen each other now, I think. Yeah. Looks like they're going to be poking around left-hand side. Dagger's actually holding the shutter door. No one's opening it for Moral Alexi, though. Someone needs to... Okay, you can't just stare at a wall forever and pray that bullet will go through it. Maybe someone needs to open the door, Gav. Okay, there you go. They do manage to get the stickies and go through. Dagger will immediately just run through.
Yeah, no one wanted this to open that shutter door. I mean, both demos had stickied up that shutter from either side, so the scouts knew what was potentially coming for them. Eventually it was open. I've seen Molexi try to peek a little bit from top, but Charlie is doing such a good job with Mathers as well, both spamming from different angles. It could be very difficult for him to peek.
We've got the sentry gun now set up on the side of GlobalClan.EU. If you are the side of nerdRage, you are more than happy to just pin them on last and play the slow game with the sniper. 6 minutes remaining on the server timer, 6 minutes 50 left on the game clock, so no more round resets for the side of GlobalClan.EU that they can use, and if they get pinned on their last hit for too long, they will just straight up lose due to being one round down. So nerdRage here going to be more than happy to just play nice and slow. Resident Sleepers in chat, boys and girls, and instead of maybe just never mind, they're doing a thing.
Molexi trying to go for something. He got a little peek by jumping over that little fence. He could just about see where the medic was. He could see where the sentry gun was, but wasn't quite able to go for the hero shot he wanted. Wasn't quite able to get the angle that he wanted. And now it's going to be a little bit more sniper 1v1. Dagger's just going to barrel into the take him out.
Very nicely done there. Managing to get Moral Alexi down is kind of what you need here to relieve some pressure now. So Trump is going to be nice and free to roam around and do medic things and heal the players he wants to heal for once, rather than sitting in a dispenser the entire game being sad. But Josh going in for the bomb, gets on some of Trum, gets the rockets down, Trum dodging, he does drop the Uber! Trum goes down there, unfortunately the bomb comes through as well. Nubby's just going to be sacking in here, gets airshot by Mathis, but it doesn't matter, he killed Ixie, the carry for the team, but that drop was massive.
Yeah, and all through that, Seeds was super, super safe himself. A little bit of soldier aggression was going for him. They're now taking the Uber. He's an Uber sniper, but now onto a demo and a scout. They're going onto the point. The sticky's being rained down on it. Now we see the soldier come in. Seeds surfs away nicely, but will get taken out by a long-range pipe from Dagger.
Oh no, Seeds. That's not what you want. Josh going to be bombing in here into... Oh, he gets Trum in the shutter! Trum, why did you peek? Oh no, man. You gotta be sad if you're Trum there. He walked into spawn on 40 HP and walked back out of spawn to arrow a player.
Yeah, as he says in chat, doughy mode is on. Absolutely. That is really, really unfortunate because they would have had a very, very good opportunity to push out. Now they're looking at a very, very slight Uber disadvantage. But all the position. In fact, Charlie almost got something going there, but Nazboy picks up 2 kills. Now it's on nerdRage to get some aggression going.
Come on, nerdRage, you can see it happen now. You got a 3-man advantage. Ixie catches the respawn. He's going to get healed. He's running towards the point. Somebody's to block it, and they don't do it. It's 2-0. So, it's looking rough now if you're the side of GlobalClan.EU. That feed from Trum. Very unfortunate in the shutter door after Seeds went down there, and also feeding 2 players on second. So lots of feeding going on. Maybe losing their tight grip on this game for the side of GlobalClan.EU. 2-0 now. 3 minutes remaining. It has to be some very, very fast rounds coming out from the side of GlobalClan.EU as we're making our way in towards this third mid. Nasboy once again, though, super fast in this mid. Dagger's going to be rolling out through Garage, going to be firing those pre-stickies towards that Garage as well. No real damage has been dealt here, but Nasboy gets good damage on Dagger. Taking this left-hand side, heals are coming out the right-hand side. Seeds getting boxed, though, in towards Garage. Doesn't actually survive there. Nice collapse coming out from nerdRage just to defend their medic, but it looks like Trump going to be running out here for the rest of the team. Nubby is in, though. Skip jump through, lands on Trump's head. Good damage down onto these 2 players. He is just mercilessly chasing them right now, and Trump is trapped in, gets cleaned up immediately. Seeds managed to survive, but it's going to be a wipe.
You know, if Nubby had hit one of those rockets, Trump probably would have been able to surf out, but because he went for the directs, completely missed them, Trump could not surf out himself and was completely boxed in, as you say, and you know it's looking very, very grim now for GlobalClan.
Look at them saying now, because it's like GlobalClan, 2 minutes remaining. They are not going to be able to do it anymore. It's pretty much over. Someone throw me a GG plugin, pretty please. It can't be done anymore. 2 minutes remaining. Let's see if nerdRage can take another round. They've got Fubrad to work with now. Going to be making their way in through this left-hand side shutter. Nobody's just going to be spamming out onto this sniper now, and is just going to be tagging him off, and they know that he's there. So it's likely to just be a use now. And they are just going to head over to this right-hand side, and they are going to start peeking now. Clear off those stickies. Do they get a jump through? Nasboy is all the way in nice and deep. And they do get this right-hand side, but basically for free now. So they're in on this last. They do get good damage down. Charlie goes down immediately. They're getting boxed in this corner. Ixie gets destroyed. Josh eventually going down there, but Flick also goes down. And it's going to be Dagger on the wrong side at this point, my friend, and also dies trying to defend it. It's going to be 3-0, and GG has been called by Mathes. It's going to be map 1 to nerdRage.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a perfect push there from nerdRage. You know, this time Ixie not able to hit that heroic headshot onto Nasboy as the Uber comes in deep into the spawn. You know, completely pins Ixie into spawn. He has to swap off and rotate, and all the time they're just getting so much damage across the point, pinning them back, and then just playing the cap time once the frags come in.
Easily done there from nerdRage, taking away this first map. It looks like we're heading into another mid. Looks like GlobalClan want to get some DM practice in before they hit the product. So looks like they're okay, and by doing that they don't fight them whatsoever. Now they're all going to burst through together after baiting them onto this point. It looks like massive 9-head maneuvers. Looks like they are okay. Why didn't they do this all the time? They've actually won this mid.
Well, you have to say it's the most inconsequential mid for sure. Nubby going for something will be picked up by Dagger himself. You know, obviously that mid fight doesn't really matter. Perhaps if they had gone on for something early on, would have worked out, but we're not going to see an Uber trade.
Is my 3-1 prediction going to come through here, do you reckon? If they manage to get a back cap through here, maybe. It's 3-0 currently, but Dagger's been left out to dry. Does eventually go down there. Moral Alexi picking up another frag for his beautiful, beautiful logs. And they are just going to body their way in towards mid. Looks like Ixie is going for the flank with Flick, but they are massively stacking this flank here with Gazzy and Nubby, and they do manage to kill both of them off. And they are going to be able to cap mid. 4 seconds remaining on the clock, and the first map is going to go the way of nerdRage for CP Drum.
Yeah, very impressive from them for sure. I mean, it was so slow purely due to, I think, how impressive GlobalClan were in, you know, a lot of their defenses, that they really kind of showed their mettle, stood up really, really well. But, you know, it is a 30-minute game. You have to be on the ball for the full 30 minutes when you're playing against a team as impressive as nerdRage, and you know, eventually nerdRage will just able to, you know, find those minute details and able to punish.
Yeah, I think the thing that nerdRage has over GlobalClan is their ability to react. They always manage to change what they do depending on what the enemy team is doing, unless they're doing, unless they have advantage pushes where they always seem to do the same thing, but it always seems to work out because it's always so clean. You said it a number of times. Perfect pushes from nerdRage on their last. They just managed to get in, take a side, spam players off of the high ground, and cap the point. And that's as simple as it is for Granary. And they managed to do it 3 times now. So, I mean, GlobalClan looking pretty rough against it, not managing to respond too well. But I feel like if they use that surprise factor, you know, that they used before, they managed to get Ixie in behind. It wasn't called. They used the surprise factor, and they managed to get on top of nerdRage. Maybe they have an opportunity. Maybe they have a shot in this game.
Yeah, I mean, we are moving on to product as well, so that is just a completely different game. Is, you know, different game mode, completely different map, much more scout heavy. I mean, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but do we want to go through some logs, perhaps?
Yeah, let's have a look at some numbers, shall we? I really like some numbers, but also we're looking at Charlie here. The big breadwinner of the game with 8.9k damage. This man hit some shots this game. He did big work, especially bombing on that choke. Like, oh my god, that sink was massive. Managing to land in the choke, nearly killed Seeds with it. Killed Demo Scout on the combo, and Seeds only just managed to slip away there. Massive stuff from him. Gazzy also picking up 21 frags, though, cleaning up on all the damage that Nasboy left behind as 7.9k damage. But Josh as well up the top of the side of nerdRage as well. Fortunately, for the side of GlobalClan.EU, they only managed to kill Seeds 3 whole times. I can see that being an issue in the whole grand scheme of trying to win games.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like combo, really. Like, Dagger had more deaths than Nasboy, Trom had more deaths than Seeds, Flick had more deaths than Molexes, so, the nerdRage combo was just coming out on top, and, Seeds was doing such a good job just sneaking out, every time. There was a number advantage, really, for GlobalClan. nerdRage would just scoop back as far as they liked, and Seeds did such a good job surviving. It's difficult that they're going to just have those heals up for so more, and obviously the 3 more Ubers as well. That's big.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty rough for GlobalClan. I think the 3 Uber advantages that they did get with the time, so they managed to kill off Trum in the mid-fight and then just run it all the way to last on all 3 mid-fights, so that would explain the 3 Uber disparity. But regardless if they beefed them or not, because they did beef quite a lot of Ubers, and they took a lot of Uber trades, so, I mean, you got positives and negatives to take out of it. I feel like if nerdRage were having a bad day, maybe GlobalClan would have stood a shot at maybe a golden cap. This was a hard game for them to do it. But this was, in the grand scheme of things, relatively impressive, I think, from GlobalClan. It's one of the better matches we've seen from them versus nerdRage, considering they got basically 5-0'd every time.
Yeah. We talked about it before, but towards the end of the season, they had really kind of tailed off. They weren't performing as they wanted. They obviously lost to Garda, which was a little bit of an upset. But, they've seemed a little bit rejuvenated, perhaps. Trum coming in has given them just a little bit more of a refresh, bit of a different energy. And, you have to say they certainly competed well. I mean, a lot of people, I predicted 6-1. A lot of people were probably expecting kind of a quick win limit, but they certainly competed well. But we're now moving on to product, and it's a very, very different ballgame.
Let's see if Mathers can get more than 6 frags as we make our way into the next map. We are heading into product. It's going to be King of the Hill, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know how it works, King of the Hill is, you've got to capture a point in the middle and tick down your clock. If the enemy team caps, then their clock goes down, and the first one to reach 0 gets the point. It's the first of 3. So, yeah, that's how Koth works, if you haven't seen it before. And we got to say, it's incredibly DM heavy. That's all it is. It's mostly deathmatch ability and the ability to coordinate in sometimes chaos situations, and maybe a couple flashy plays here and there. Some air shots, some headshots, depends on what you want to run. Sniper is a common occurrence here, so potentially we might see Ixie sniping on this map.
Potentially. I mean, obviously nerdRage have that option with Molexi as well. I know they've opted not to play too much sniper on this map earlier on this season in their scrims and everything. They don't seem to be a huge fan. It seems that they just want those kind of standard classes, and the problem with picking the sniper up is if the soldiers are doing a good job of getting behind, flanking, getting onto that sniper, it doesn't matter how good a sniper he is, and Moralexi is epic sniper. Ixie very, very good as well, but if the soldiers just land on them all the time, they can't get too much going.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue that the side of GlobalClan are going to have, even if they did want to run a sniper and they decided, we're going to run Ixie on sniper full time, they'd be down on the powerhouse of Ixie Scout. And I feel like, right, if you're not running 2 scouts on product, you're actually throwing. Like, you are throwing the game in the bin. Yeah. Like, the scout class is far too powerful to not have them. And I don't think Mathers or Charlie are really going to be able to stand up to the power of Moral Alexi and Gazio, unfortunately, if they were to swap into the scout class. So I feel like it's just going to be relatively cookie cutter. We might see some nubby sniper on the other side. We did see it in the last game from nerdRage. But the one person I'm looking out for in this game is Seeds, because I've seen some logs recently, and There are a couple zero-death games coming out from Seeds on product.
That's super impressive. Product. It is difficult for a medic. You have to deal with the potential sniper popping up any second, as we say. But also just if your team loses those fights, it's a long way. You're gonna get chased an awful long way, and you're not as. It's not the same as 5CP where you have all these choke points and all these points that you can run through with a scout and survive. You need to run all the way back to spawn, otherwise a soldier's potentially landing on you.
Yeah, it's a rough time for medics in this map in general. But in terms of the demo man matchup, Nasboy, he seems to have it down against Dagger. He seems to be able to read him like a book most of the time. All the mid fights went the way of Nasboy. Managed to get there first. Managed to get the pre-stickies off. Managed to know which door is coming through pretty much every single mid, and just kind of had it down. So I feel like Dagger is going to have a pretty bad game if he's got to try and 1v1 Nasboy across this point. It's going to be rough for him, especially since they are, apparently red side is unfavored on product just because of right hand side wall bomb, but both soldiers using originals, so it's not that much of a disadvantage.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're trading off potentially like a little bit easier spam for a demo against a little bit easier jump for soldier. So some teams prefer red, some teams prefer blue. It seems we've settled GlobalClan. I seem happy with red, and nerdRage seem happy with blue. I mean, nerdRage play blue an awful lot. I don't know if it's like that 7 thing that they used to have, where they just played blue for the org.
Yeah, maybe it is. Who knows? Maybe they're just showing respect to the greatest European team, other than, of course, Epsilon. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I think 7 are probably the best team in Europe. I'm not quite sure. Well, the best team that were in Europe. Tell me in chat if you think I'm wrong and why. I would like to see everyone's opinions on the best teams in Europe. But any scoreline predictions for GlobalClan vs nerdRage on product, Dave?
I think product's always, potential of a little bit of an upset. I'm still going to give the edge for nerdRage for sure. There's nothing that's going to sway me against that decision. But 3-1 nerdRage perhaps.
Yeah, I get the feeling we're going to see a bit of a 3-0 from nerdRage. But having said that, I know the GlobalClan haven't been the worst at product, but I just feel like Moral, Alexi, and Ghazi are going to have their way with them. I don't feel like Seeds is going to take the beam off them. Nasboy is a demo that's very capable of not taking an infinite number of heals on product, so they're going to play this 2-pocket scout style on this map, and it's going to be a rough time.
Potentially, I mean, the scout is so powerful on this map. It's probably going to be up to, I mean, Ixie and Flick, both of them have such impressive DM. We're perhaps going to have to look for some kind of standout Mercurial performance from Ixie. Otherwise it's going to be very, very tough for GlobalClan.
Yeah. Also, I was going to say a thing. Then it was going to be interesting. Oh yeah, there you go. I've got it. Don't worry, my brain just lags sometimes, and I forget things. Top 5 Rocket versus Feint in the next matchup. What do you reckon we're looking at there? That's going to be a close series, do you think? That's going to be a good one.
That should definitely be a good one. Yeah. Check that out. Is it Thursday over this channel?
Beta, have you got inside information? Beta has no inside information. Nobody knows. Maybe go look at ETF2L and find out yourself, you goons.
I believe it's Thursday anyway.
Yeah, Thursday maybe, ladies and gentlemen. So that game should be pretty good when that happens. So I'm kind of looking forward to that one. I'm not going to lie, dude. I've kind of got my money on top 5 Rocket. I know that's a bad prediction, but still.
Potentially. I mean, we've seen Feint have been a little bit hit and miss at times. They've looked complete match for nerdRage, and at times they just haven't quite been on the ball as much. So, definitely, that should be, even if we look at this being not, a little bit more of a role, perhaps that should be a very, very close game. But yeah, back here, I definitely feel GlobalClan have got it within them to take this back a little bit. And as we say, product, it is potential upset territory. I mean, we remember back to the old the Grabinator coming out, upsetting 7 on this map. That was something really, really epic to see.
You've seen some upsets now and again on product. I think the only team I've not see falter actually on product, because every team has their like little wobble on product. I feel like if a team really isn't feeling it together and their DM is maybe off for a day and you have like a couple off days on a few of your players, then you can lose rounds. But the only team I've seen consistently frag on product has been Froyo, which is sad to see.
Yeah, they do seem to be the masters of this map. I mean, even to be honest, even Froyo, like there were definitely some times where various kind of DM heavy ascent rosters would give them a little bit fear on this map, but it seemed every time Froyo came and played sort of against the Euros didn't fancy it at all. That they would just ban it every time that they could, and whenever they didn't ban it, they got punished.
Yeah. The American scene's actually been relatively good recently. I've been enjoying watching some of their games, looking at how the US players kind of play their game. Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't realise, we're stalling because these teams have not pressed the ready up button or clicked F4 in a little while. I'm not sure what's going on with the server, but thank you for bearing with us because we're kind of talking a lot. So feel free to mill amongst yourselves and chat while we talk.
I have some cool info. The chat can hear me now.
Oh, fantastic!
That is there's this NA Cup, the DreamHack Clash thingy. That's I think supposed to happen this weekend. There's some qualifiers for it, and nerdRage is playing in that tournament. I'm not sure if they're playing this weekend, but yeah, they're playing in the American tournament. So that's some more hot nerdRage action coming to you.
We're going. Both teams are found. Okay, no, we're not. We've been baited. Seeds, get in the bin. Oh my god, I'm getting angry now. Seeds. Someone send him an angry beta. Can you send him an angry DM, please? No. Please.
Well, I think I actually saw GlobalClan had signed up for the DreamHack tournament as well.
Oh yeah, I remember. I remember now looking at the Discord, and Josh was talking his heart out, and somehow managed to convince Dr. Happiness that they could let them play in the NA side of things. I might be casting some of the games. It might be. I need to see how I feel after having lovely surgery on Friday. So if I'm not feeling up for it, then you won't see me, but I will be watching the games regardless. So it should be pretty good anyway. But looks like we're seeing F4 buttons being pressed here. Making our way into this game now. So GlobalClan.EU versus nerdRage. We're on product. So finally, we're going. And Dagger's also bombing in real fast. Has ended up on rock all of a sudden. And it's going to get pretty sticky by Nasboy actually on that rock. He does get arrowed up by his medic. He's also got a soldier going in behind already. Nubby's going for a really early bomb here. Immediately cleaned up though by Ixie. Bomb coming in as well from Josh in towards Trum. Doesn't quite find anything though. And Flick getting super weak behind rock and does have to now chill. So Nubby and Josh going down. Two soldiers being dead. And it's going to be GlobalClan probably capping out on his first point.
Yeah, Trump hit an absolutely clutch arrow onto Dagger just as Josh was juggling him everywhere in the air. But the clutch arrow coming out, that Hungarian kind of brainwave coming in. I mean, we talked about how impressive Trump is in terms of his mechanical skill, and that arrow is so powerful. It just wins them in the midfight alone.
Yeah, looks like they are able to cling on to this point here, so we're going to see what nerdRage want to do. It looks like Gazzy's just going to be edging this cap here. Seed's just going to be sitting in his pocket, and Seed seems to always love playing around this right-hand side rather than anywhere else. He's going to bring the heals up there towards his scout, just trying to heal him up. The Uber does actually go through, though, as Josh managed to get the bomb in towards Trump. Trump getting super weak, but Seed's managed to get all the way out here, does retain his Uber charge here. So they are able to just come back in with his full Uber, and we're likely to see a sack out the side of GlobalClan now, as they are just going to be edging this cap here. Seed's once again playing a super safe position here. Charlie's going to bomb behind Seed's to where he's there. Dagger's going to be bombing as well. Oh no! Seeds drops the Uber charge here, and the rest of the team have to flood back for these players that went behind, but that was very unfortunate.
Yeah, looking at both the soldiers, over on that left-hand side, but it was Dagger who just comes in, jumps lands on top of the cliff, on top of the rock, and just rains down stickies on CZ. What was not prepared for it at all, and a rare misplay coming out from him. But they do have the point, a little bit of an advantage here for GlobalClan, but it's a little bit of a sticky situation for a while, is that they try and push before the Uber comes.
So the bomb's coming in, Nubby is on top of Trump. They do manage to get that frag though, and they also get on top of Dagger and clean him up immediately. Really nice collapse from the side of nerdRage there, just getting the two frags they need. It's going to be incredibly hard for them to counter-sack now with no demo being up. So it looks like Ace is going to be running in pretty much solo because the rest of the team are just baiting him here. But they are getting tons of caps on it. They do actually get the cap, but this is probably bad though. They do get on top of Seeds and deal a hefty amount of damage. Flick also manages to get a kill there on top of Josh with the assistance of Mathez. So do pretty well there, but capping out that point was pretty bad because now the spawners have all been delayed for the side of GlobalClan. The spawn comes through for Josh as well, so they're able to get all their players up now, and they are going to go for a forward hold.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's the kind of classic King of the Hill thing, in that, you know, you can always... that nerdRage were happy to give them the cap as long as they kept Seeds alive because of that spawn option. Oh!
Goodbye. Madness gets the air shot to Naspoy there. Absolutely demolished there. Ixie running in as well through this lower area and is going to be able to escape though. They do actually force out the supercharge right now as well on the left hand side. So it looks like nerdRage now are in a bit of a shocking situation. Naspoy is currently on a respawner. GlobalClan are about to get their soldier and demo, and they are holding a bit far forward, so they're going to opt to run away now. Trump does have his full supercharge now, so it's up to the side of nerdRage to try and force out the super and retain the point.
Yeah, stuck nice and far forwards for a while with no demo man, but there was no rush coming in from GlobalClan. They played it very much slow and steady. Big bomb coming in. Josh is going to be able to get behind, and Nubby's going to force out Uber with a nice bomb.
Nubby with a very nice, just Flick direct and kills Flick immediately. Dagger really aggressive though, ended up on Cliff trying to get Seeds. Over aggress, just gets 2-shot by Moral Alexi. And that's a really nice play there from him, actually barreling forwards, currently on a 5k killing spree for Moral Alexi. Naspoy's going to be bombing out again. Oh, Deja Vu Math is there, shot again.
Yeah, during all this time, Trump has been very, very separated from the rest of his team. So while Seeds has been building up to 90%, Trump is still back at just 20%. So it's a large Uber advantage now. Aggression coming out from GlobalClan, you know, off those picks, but the Uber is coming up now.
So they're going to be bombing forwards here. Trum has managed to attach himself to a scout. Dagger, in fact, kills himself. They're trying to jump. But Ixie and Charlie are in behind together on Cliff, getting cleaned up here. Ixie is going to run for the back. It nearly eats the direct, but he's in a horrible situation after having to avoid that rocket. Actually gets a meat shot onto Moral Alexi there. The rest of GlobalClan, though, coming back forwards. Trump to 85%. Shocking situation for him. Actually gets shot off the wall and dies in the corner. A little bit too aggressive there from him. Unable to find a Zuba.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very back and forth fighting for both teams. You know, fights happening all over the place. We're now going to see Charlie go down to his own win. Very, very aggressive now from nerdRage. Just 10 seconds on the clock, and they're pinning them right the way back in spawn. And Seeds has an advantage as well.
Looks like they are going to just bust them into main here. They all try and run out together, unable to do so. They're just collecting frags here. Looks like Charlie's actually managing to get in. He is not giving up on this point. He does. Okay, Gazzy hits him with a ball, and now Moral Alexi's on the 10k. Oh my good lord. Unstoppable for Moral Alexi at the end there.
Yeah, you can just see the scoreboard. Both the scouts are ahead of Seeds, like massively at the top of the scoreboard. I don't know how... presumably Moral Alexi, I don't know if he died at all that round, but you know, certainly was put in a big kill streak. And you know, when the scouts aren't dying, it's very, very easy to just retain, you know, the slight advantages that they always had, and up to them to do something different on the second minute.
Looks like they're bombing in really hard once again. Both soldiers fully committing there. Going for the one pick. They do find Flick though. They don't get Trump or Dagger there on this bomb. Probably aiming for one or the other, but Flick being dead is a really good thing. Also, Charlie is a really long range punt there from Naspoy. Just to be bombing into this flank as well. Nice flank play here from Gazzy. Runs at Ixie. He tries to support his soldier and just cleans him up immediately. So no extra pressure there for the side of GlobalClan.EU. Very nicely done there from Gazzy.
Yeah, perfectly played from nerdRage. Once more, they changed the mid up a little bit. They just got a lot more, I guess, a lot more aggressive, and they really were able to pin them back a little bit more than they had the previous mid. And they did just such a good job of taking the position that was offered to them.
Flick is currently up on Pyro challenges Gazzy, but the soldiers are in really high, and Seeds doesn't actually use all that overcharge there, so nice force coming in for the side of GlobalClan. Flick's going to go down eventually, but they do lose 3 here. I think Josh is just going to get a really aggressive hit. If he can peek this and see, but Trum is sitting in spawn, unfortunately here. If Trum had actually walked out, I think Josh would have been able to get the force off.
Yeah, he decides not to walk through the shuttle this time, like we saw on Granary. Definitely a wise decision there. It's a little bit, I mean, nerdRage, they're so ballsy to just stay as far forward as they are with this Uber disadvantage down. They are going to be able to pick up Mathis, but Charlie picks up a pick kill onto Kazi.
Yeah, that's exactly what we want here. Josh, they're in behind, does get the rockets off, and they do get the force through. Seeds is currently weak at the bottom of the cliff, but they are just going to opt to cap out this point now. 1 minute time disparity on this clock as the capture's about to go through, but no, they block it. Nubby, nice little bomb there. Actually gets the kill on Dag with a long-range rocket, and Flick foolishly caps the point, unfortunately. So it looks like Dagger's going to be on an 8-second respawner, whereas the side of nerdRage is just going to have respawners cycling through now. Gazi eventually going down. Nubby actually gets arrowed there by Trum. So it looks like Trum is going to manage to survive in. Nubby drops a GG in chat for getting arrowed there by Trum. But it looks like Ixty now running in, taking the fight. Actually forced out the Uber. Ixty did such a good job there. Managed to get tons of damage onto Royal Alexi just to get that force out of them. And now Trum is sitting high and dry at 20% Uber advantage. But they are at risk here of trading the point back to nerdRage so they can tick their clock down even further.
Yeah, a little bit of a kind of time advantage here.
Oh,
both
God.
high bombs coming in and they do clean them up. If Nubby hadn't hit that rocket that Gazi was in as well, Seeds went down in the back lines as well. I didn't quite have my eyes on that. But it's descended into absolute chaos. This is what we like to see on product. Just fighting all over the place. Ixie wins a 1v1 with Gazi. He's now behind it on the flank. We're going to wait for a health back. And, you know, when you trade the frags as they did, it just works out better for the team that doesn't have the gap. They get all their 6 games up. And they do get the point down now. They are a little bit of a time disadvantage, just a minute down. But it worked out well for them.
Oh, Trum, come on, man. I don't know if you saw that, but Trum just eats a long-range spam rocket and then gets one-piped by Nasboy, and that's literally all it took to kill him. Go on, Trum, not standing in the way of the demo, maybe looking up a little bit, maybe look at some pipes, who knows, you might not die there. And the rest of the team of GlobalClan.EU, as a result, go in and try and feed for Seeds, they don't get it, and now they're in this poo-poo situation on long respawners, the cap goes through, and nerdRage are back in a forward hold.
Yeah, that is sad to see. Just, you know, just miracle medic death out of nowhere. It's really a shame. But, you know, nerdRage did such a good job there. All 6 players were back behind the medic. Now they're going for a really aggressive double scout Uber.
They're just going to be barreling into the spawn. Oh my god, they just want to box them in spawn here. Flick on Pyro in this large area is going to do absolutely nothing here. And they just want to box them in spawn even more. As they did find Trum with that Uber, so somehow managed to catch him out. Loads of spam onto this door as well. Mathis not going to have crit heals. They're just going to reset blind, it looks like. And they are just going to get nice and healed up. But the forward spawn camp is going to continue here. Seeds up to 45%. And with that play, it may have seemed BM to box them in spawn there. But with the amount they got there, they managed to get a good 30 seconds off of this clock with that one play alone. And even further now, as these players are trying to bust their way in, but don't manage to do so on towards Seeds. Seeds down to 70 HP. And they're going to do the same thing. They're going to get even more aggressive. Try and box them in this spawn for as long as they can, really drive down that clock and the mental energy that GlobalClan have.
Yeah, I mean, that is a Froyo strat that we've seen in the past, but again, they have this Uber, they're going the double scouts, is through the main. Trum will probably sneak out here, but the time is down so low already, and with all the other players going down, there was no way he was going to survive.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it may seem like they are getting absolutely conquered, because they are getting conquered, but it's all in the name of catching fat dubs for the side of nerdRage. They want this game in the bag and fast. The easiest way to do that is tilt them out of their minds by spawn camping them and boxing them just so you can get as much time off this clock as humanly possible. So now we're seeing another mid. It's currently the 3rd mid, and GlobalClan are in a bit of a bad spot here in this map, but Dagger's getting bombed early. Josh actually whiffs his bomb. Nubby going in as well. They do kill off Dagger, so no demo man here. Gaz is also running in. They do lose 3 on the side of nerdRage here. Naspo, in fact, getting arrowed at range by Trum. Nearly goes down there to that. And Ixie is currently up on Sniper, so finally they've decided Charlie Scout is the way forward. Okay, yes it is.
Didn't hit too much, but now he's picked up Nasboy as well. We are seeing Trump go up onto the crit screeg as Bisa whispers in my ear. So, you know, a little bit of gimmicks coming out here. I often don't like to see this kind of double gimmick play, but the crits is going to come in.
Oh, it's bad. It's not just bad, it's terrible. They do nothing, and they also dealt all the crit stickies. maybe lean on the shoulder of Ixie for this one, ladies and gentlemen. It's looking rough. They do actually use other supercharge in just to take all the space that they can at this point, and they are going to kill Ixie and Mathis, so they're going to be able to reclaim this point here. The sniper and the Kritzkrieg doing absolutely nothing. I guess the one saving grace that they have for this Kritzkrieg is it's already up to 65%, whereas that Uber's only sitting at 25%. So if they can just crit through main or something, maybe try and crush as many players as possible with it, who knows? They might be able to do something here. It's kind of a risky play, but they got to kind of go for these wild plays, it looks like. Dagger's looking to crits from main. Actually, they do pop it out. Good damage onto Josh. Josh eventually gets cleaned up there. Still, the Kritzkrieg is going. It is live, but they're all dead. Never mind.
Yeah, Gassy coming in with a big flank. You know, obviously when you have that crits on the medic, he's an uber charge, so he can't save himself from any flank play coming in. Gassy just completely on the ball there, comes in through the flank, cleans up Trum, and now we're going to see Seeds up to 90%. It's looking like complete domination, not global domination, but in fact nerdRage domination.
They are just going to use all the overcharge nice and safe there, just so they can kill off Dagger, who did come in there. They can now go for another spawn camp if they want. They're going to get aggressive towards spawn, even more aggressive here, like they did last time. Josh from the left, and also got Nasboy from the right, sticking that main shutter door. They're all going to bust out this right-hand side. The Pyro does manage to clean up the stickies by airblasting them away, and they do manage to force them back a little bit. But Trum looking like he wants to stick on this Kritzkrieg here. Oh, actually, no, he's on minigun now. Never mind. He's just building really well. He's done a good job. He's managed to get the supercharge, and he's going to be able to bust out with this Pyro here. And they do manage to get through nice and clean. Mathis doesn't quite go down, but for some reason they use.
Yeah, I think there was a soldier Nubby in the back lines. Perhaps he just got so much damage. All four, like the four players stuck in that choke point, and Nubby coming behind. I think Nubby just Trump just felt he had to pop the Uber there. But you know, every time we see it here from GlobalClan, every time a little bit of pressure is put on them, you know, Trum is getting forced out, and it's not happening, you know, on the reverse side to anywhere near the same extent.
Yeah, Seeds now has a supercharge as well. Looks like they're just going to use it in immediately. Nasboy there with a nice sticky poker on top of Dagger here, getting flung around the skybox. Oh, lovely sticky headshot there from him to clean up Dagger in the skybox. Good Uber smiley face in chat as Ixie and Mathis have managed to bust this flank, but more than Ixie is here, and he's back with vengeance. Seeds actually on the point here. Charlie whiffs the skill stick, but eventually gets cleaned up there. Flick is in to get the kill onto Seeds. Trump also getting super weak here. He does get bombed, and Josh finds a 2k there with one rocket. So doing a really good job of cleaning them up there eventually for the side of nerdRage. And Moral Alexi is on another killing spree.
Yeah, I think he's barely died at all this whole map. Unfortunate that it looked for a minute like with Charlie coming in and picking up Seeds, it was gonna go well for GlobalClan, but you know, Trum was just caught a little bit too far forward with Flick caught out, and now they're going to have to win a little bit more of a dry fight again. They're getting lots and lots of damage down, but Trum is picked up by Josh. Dagger picked up by Molexi again. He's just on this kind of medic leash, just absolute pin cushioning everyone, shooting them all down. It's like a pinata, just taking hit after hit after hit from the scattergun.
Yeah, Moral Alexi is really laying them out this game. You can see him, he's playing all over the place, and no one is shooting at him because he's just always attached to this beam. If you start shooting at him, he's just going to recover immediately. So they're just opting to go for everyone else first and then kill him last. But that's unfortunate when he's two-shotting everyone, and it's making it a real problem for them. Now they're taking the supercharge in really deep here. 5 seconds remaining on the clock, and the capture's about to go through. But looks like they do get a player to the point. They do get Charlie on it as well as Mathis. They are going to be standing on it. GG has been called already by Ixie. A bit prematurely, but Mathis is eventually going to go down here. The clock is going to go through. It's going to be a game to nerdRage, taking this away 2-0. Very, very dominant there on product.
Yeah, they were just absolutely phenomenal. I feel like no team is really going to fancy taking them on this map. You know, we talk about this being this sort of double elimination playoffs going forward. So, you know, potentially a lot of games left to be played. GlobalClan will obviously go into the lower bracket, so they'll have, you know, one more chance to perhaps mount some kind of stirring comeback. But nerdRage look very, very strong. So, you know, such a clean victory here on product, and you know, a clean 2-0 in maps as well. They just look phenomenal.
Yeah, they're looking pretty incredible here, nerdRage. It's gonna be tough to take them down this season. I've just got some logs on the screen for you. You can see Moral Alexi 26 frags in 15 minutes, on track for a 30 kill game if it went the full 30. So that was absolutely insane. Gazzy also 23 frags. He's 2 scouts. We said it in the pregame. They're going to be a nuisance. But Ixie there, he tried his damnedest, man. He top damage, top frag on the side of Global Clan. He really tried in this game. I think it was a decent showing all from Global Clan. But I think nerdRage is just showing at the end of the day that they are just the stronger team.
Yeah, absolutely. And going forward, no one's going to fancy taking nerdRage on a product, I imagine. We talked about maps going forward, perhaps Sunshine being a little bit of a weakness for nerdRage, but that's the single chink in armor we've really seen all season, and they've always got the option of just banning that map out. So whoever we talked about Thursday being the next game coming up, and whoever wins that will play nerdRage in the upper bracket, and that is an ominous task.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to this top 5 Rocket versus Feint game. It's going to be a very very close game. It's going to be the one that everyone's going to be looking at to see who's going to make it in. I feel like Feint Gaming, if they did as well as they did in the officials that they had against them, then it would have been fine. But I've seen some logs where there's been a couple games where nerdRage have really dominated them. But I still feel like Feint Gaming are going to have the best shot against the side of nerdRage here. It's what everyone's been predicting through the season. It's kind of been what's been shown as well. So, I think that, nerdRage got to be feeling good after this, of course. But they've still got a long run ahead of them if they're on the way to the gold medal.
Yep. And to be honest, from Global Clan, perhaps they can take a little bit of inspiration from nerdRage themselves. Of course, nerdRage, we talked about season 36. They came out champions. I think they came back from 4th place themselves. So that's perhaps just a little bit of inspiration they can take. It is a long, hard road, potentially for Global Clan. But, nerdRage have proved it is possible in the past.
Yeah, indeed. Looks like, I think that's about it now. I've not really got much else to talk about, so I think we'll just throw it to some shout-outs here. So, GG, well played to both teams. But Dave, any shout-outs from you, dude?
Shout out to my boys in Sensation, and yeah.
Beta, unmute yourself for the audience so we can hear your lovely voice. Any shout-outs you want to throw out?
Sure, I will just shout out my demo call. You've been doing pretty good at it so far. Lots of good demos have been submitted, so keep doing that. It's it's week 7, so usually I would have probably made my video already, but I'm a little behind. So you have some extra time. Good for you. Yeah, you can find it on ETF2L.org. I love it.
Shouts to both teams for tonight's game. GlobalClan.EU and nerdRage. Been a very, very good game. All in all, GlobalClan showing that they have what it takes in this Premiership division. Excited to see what they do next season as well. nerdRage, of course, taking away this first playoffs game. Thanks, Dave, for casting with me this evening. Beta, obviously, for producing. Shout out to the DreamHack tournament. It's going to be happening this weekend. You do not want to miss it. There's an actual prize pool going on as well, so it should be pretty good. Shout out to the Bus Crew. Shout out to Bus Crew Black and all my boys back in the Polly's pad. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in this evening. And we'll see you next time on Thursday. Peace, guys.